amount of money and also material, and China vowed to give more in the future accordingly. And I anticipate that even medical teams are going to send to the Philippines. So China will play a rather active part in providing such kind of humanitarian assistance.
I understand, according to the latest information coming from the Chinese government, as much as about 10 million yuan materials, for example, blankets and tents, are being now all gathered, supported, and also being sent to the Philippines. And meanwhile, the Chinese Red Cross have also been donating certain amount of cash to the disaster-stricken areas. But that actually has brought a lot of debate here in China and elsewhere about what is the relations between, let's just say, political and geopolitical relations between two countries, and when a country is facing humanitarian disaster, what should be the reactions from the other country? Mr. Ye, how do you see this debate